Hello everyone, and welcome back to Coireán, my Irish-inspired Engage model railway. Yes, welcome back. I took a bit of a break over Christmas, but now we're going to get some more progress done on the railway. As you can see, I've got the hill and everything that was built last time, and the space for the brewery. And the plan today, and over the next few days possibly, it's very cold at the moment, we're in January, but get some newspaper, paper mache kind of stuff, put down and get some, the scenic area kind of shaped, and around here, and in these spaces, maybe like little kind of hilly bits, and then cover them over. And that will give it a better view of the landscape with the buildings. So I'll be able to place them on it, and you'll see it again, how it's supposed to look. So that's the intention anyways for this episode, is to get that done. But like I said, it's very cold, so it might take a good while for things to dry. And also the cat has, he's not in these episodes mainly because he loves to jump on this, and it's very difficult to work on it. But Smokepus has been on here over Christmas and knocked a few bits of card off and left it a bit dirty. But it's alright because we'll get covered over anyways. So we're going to crack on now with getting some of the newspaper stuck to it, hopefully. Right. Let's get to it, shall we? Right, so you might not be able to see me, but hopefully you can see the railway. I've got some PVA here, which I have put into an old soup tub with a tiny dash of water, so it's a bit more runny. Whether that will work or not, we'll see. But there it is, there's PVA. I've got some newspaper of various sorts that I'm going to shred to make my strips to make things. So it's essentially a case of tear bits off, doesn't matter what shape, because you'll end up needing shapes of various sizes to fill in bits and to screw up. You know, it doesn't have to be the neatest thing in the world, but we've got some straight strips there, and some straight-ish strips there, and I should have some here. So they're all going to be quite good for long pieces. And I've got these nice pieces. These are usually quite good for doing the sides of hills, just as little sort of patchy bits. This is the Sunday. That's the newspaper I'm using here, the Sunday. So it's another nice set of straights. Chuck that there. And then we get a few more square pieces now. And hopefully, like I said, it'll all dry nice and well. But it is freezing. I can barely feel my fingertips, and that's why I've got a fan heater here. Obviously I'm not using it too much because I don't want it to overheat, but it's just something that hopefully will keep the temperature up in here and allow the glue to dry a bit quicker. But I do have now bits to be starting with, so that's good. I've left all the wires attached because I really couldn't be bothered to undo them. So we've got our newspaper there to coat stuff. I'm just going to take this now and tear some big patchy bits like that for doing large areas, and there we go. Right, let's get started. I suppose I'll turn it over to speeded up film while I get the main things going. So yes, I've done around one side of the hill a bit, and this is the other side. The piece here for attaching the side of the tunnel mouth to had come loose, and the other bits under the road, so I've packed those in with bits of newspaper scrunched up and glued, and so they are in place now, hopefully. And so the newspaper will come down over the holes and everything and around the tunnel mouths and over the top and everything. And that's as far as I'll probably get today, and then I'll start again tomorrow, probably doing the rest of it. So yes, I'm going to get on and do that. Right, so before I speed up, I'm just going to explain what I'm doing in this stage. So I'm just getting bits of newspaper, balling them up, covering them with glue, and shoving them along here, just to make a kind of more gentle slope than that straight down there. Packing in under the hill a bit, that will give the side of the hill a bit more support. We don't need to use things like mod rock and stuff like that because the engaged buildings are very lightweight. The whole thing of this is that it's meant to be a lightweight layout that's easy to carry, so newspaper don't weigh that much, and I find that it just holds up quite well once you have enough layers and you get a good. Normally I would use proper paint tester pots for what's it called? Painting. That's the word. So that's what I would use, and that normally gives it a nice sort of solid finish before you sort of go and do your glue and your grass scatter or whatever, or your road paint if you want to do polyfill or whatever for that, and then paint that. That normally works quite well. I'm thinking I've got some what's it called? Some chalkboard paint in the shed, and if it hasn't gone off, I think it could be quite good for the road. But then again, that's a very, very black shade of black. It's really black. Whereas the road will probably be slightly more grey and dusty. I could, in theory, go and look at some sort of texture powder to use for that, but I don't know, because it would have to be like ultra fine. If I see anything that happens before they've completely closed down, that might be an idea, but I'd have to do it before I put the buildings down, because sort of sieving that onto the layout or dusting it down into where the road's going to be will cover the buildings probably. But then again, if I did that and then added a little bit of paper over the edge of that, it might tie it in quite well. So that's something that I could potentially do. So I'm just going to tuck that in there. And now I'm going to speed up and layer over this bit. Here we go. Okay, so now I have along the station front kind of sorted, I think, before I put down the basic ground cover there, paint, whatever. The brewery yard, I've done a nice bit where it's come up to the height of the rails, trim back anything that needs trimming afterwards once it's dry, and a bit of infill over there. Over there I still need to do, and the beach area I will need to do. But down here, I am just making a bit of a sort of a hilly bit between the good siding over here and the line going away, because I just wanted to add a bit more separation from the two areas. Although down here by the tunnel, there'll be the hill will come up here and down here. So that's my plan anyway, whether it actually works or not. But I just think when trains are coming around this way and they're going away, there should be some sort of separation of the scene. So this looks like it's going around the coast a bit more, whereas this is slightly more inland. But I'm basically just twisting up bits of the newspaper and dabbing it in the glue, and then I'm gonna cover it over with some newspaper now again, to add a bit more PVA to the pot. Ooh, it's cold. There we go. That's probably enough because we're nearly done for today, anyways. Spilling it on the floor. I had to go wash my hands a few minutes ago, and as I went down the hallway, I had lots of newspaper trailing from my shoots. So there's newspaper now all over the hallway, presumably. So I'm just going to dab that in there. Nice bit of glue on that because it's going on the top like that. Kind of squidge it down. And I'm just going to try use sort of small strips for this because it is in quite a tight space. And it's a very hands-on job, this, very, very gluey. And you do have to go away and wash your hands a few times because eventually the stuff starts to stick to you more than it sticks to the railway, and then it just becomes annoying. But I still prefer to do it, you know, like this with my hands rather than just sort of painting on glue and laying the strips on or whatever. I don't like mod rock, but that's a personal thing. I just don't like putting so much water on stuff that I know is going to potentially warp, given that there's very little support on my baseboards usually. It's just not something I've ever really worked with that much, and I just, you know, I'm not that keen on it. Although a great many modelers do use mod rock and have absolutely fantastic results. So, like I said, you don't have to do it my way, and to be honest, I'd say most people probably recommend not to do it my way. But, you know, I like doing it this way. And like I said, it's generally quite lightweight. It's shapeable. You can just sort of, you know, go, all right, well, I want this contour, so I'll screw this ball up here and chuck it down there and stuff. And it generally works quite well. I'm going to have to run a bit of glue around the bottom of that, I'd say, just to make sure it stays in place while it's drying, because it's going to go down there. Overall, that hilly bit there is looking quite good. I haven't decided exactly what I'm going to do with it because there's not really that much space for trees. Not as much trees around here, anyways. A little bit of foliage, maybe. Clump stuff. It's like a hedge. Maybe a standing stone or an olive stone or something placed on the top might be quite cool. In keeping with the Irish mythology kind of stuff. Not how I do that. I suppose go to the beach, find a nice stone. But yeah, we just tying that in there. I keep thinking that bit's already been painted green because it's green. So there we go. And even like I could paint that a bit, so it's like rocks or something on this side, and a grey. Chuck some rocks down the bottom there to run along the side, and then the other side of it will be rocks by the beach. So yeah, that's just my little divide there, and it's not going to be as high as a coach. You know, we should still be able to see over the top of the coach. Like we'll be higher than that. But you'll get a better view of it. I'll do close-ups like when it's finished gluing. But I'd say that will do. It doesn't need to be too substantial. It's going to be painted over anyways. Let's try and glue that onto there while the glue there is wet. And you just kind of shape it as you go as well. Put some stuff down there. Sprinkle a bit of yellow maybe on a bit of dark green foliage, make it look a bit like gorse bush or something. So that should do. Move stones in here and there. Reminds me of my old layout St. Relic Key. But yeah, that'll do. Right, so I'll finish covering the other areas and show you what it looks like when it's dry. Right, well, while I carry on with the work, it's time for another segment about Coireán or Waterville itself. And so this time we're going to be looking at the transatlantic cable. We're not looking at it specifically, we're going to be looking at some of the locations that are important to it, because that's one of the things I envisage my railway having brought people in and equipment in to actually, you know, work with the cable company or whatever. So we're going to go and we're going to do the walk, and we're going to find the little marker things, because there is a trail which you can do if you come and visit. As you can see, button around, it's painted up back into its white, like in the 1930s guidebook or whatever it is I have. So it's a lovely day and it's time to get walking. So this is the map of the cable trails, and obviously there's Valencia where the first cables went out from. But here we have Waterville, and we're going to be doing this walk. We've got posts here, these are the markers, and we're going to go around and around the rest of them. And there is a map here which shows you which way things are. So when we come back from the Smugglers Beach, there's the car park here where the craft market is, and there's a post there. Then there is a stretch where it's on the main road, so you have to be careful there. And then you come up this way. From what I remember, there is a plaque here, so I'm going to go find that. And then you go around this way and back. So that's the plan anyways. There's a bit of information here for you as well. So this is the first marker of the trail, and obviously that's a section of the cable itself is what it's supposed to look like, and it says here 1884 to 1962 commercial cable company. And there's the cable station, which we will find later, and there's a bit more information for you. So here we are at the location of the second marker, and as you can see, it says that the shore end cables, this is where they left Ireland to go to places like Le Havre and Western-super-Mare and even the Azores, and there they are on the beach when they were exposed. And I might actually be able to show you something like that later on. You can't actually see the cable station really from here, but it is over there somewhere. And there is a plaque here as well, which I will stand on the road. They should just turn this around the other way, really, because you have to stand on the road to read it. Right, let's get on to the Smugglers. So you can see the village over there. Someone actually wading out in the water over there. I don't know if you can see them. But this is what we call the coast road, because it's the road that goes along the coast. And this is, in summer, a really lovely walk. And yeah, it's a nice walk to be doing to get to the next part of this cable walk. You probably want to be fit, or if not, have a car if you're not wanting to walk all this way. But it's not really that far anyways. It's only a few kilometers perhaps. But yeah, like I said, the view from up here over the bay, you've got hogs in the distance and ballinskelligs on the other side of the bay. It's really quite something. You might get an idea of why I like living here when you see views like this, and it's minutes from home. And I mean, even over Hog's Headway, it's so much like a mill pond that the mountains are reflected in the water. Well, here's a pole that's seen better days. It's rusting away in the Atlantic air. And if you carry on down that way, that gets us to the Smugglers. Or, having done that, we can now turn and go this way, towards the craft market. As I walk along this road towards the craft market and the main road, you might be able to see a bus going along there if I stop being so shaky. There are rows of houses over there, which are in front of the cable station, and they were built by the cable company to house their staff. This is the heritage trail of the Skellig coast, and it's at the Skellig gift store place. And so we've come to another one of these pillars, which shows you a bit about the thing itself. And so you've got all these stones which have a good history of, you know, what exactly this coast is about. And I won't show you all of it because you should come and see it, but you can see this cable here. That is kind of the transatlantic cable, and that is the cover of a book, which is very interesting about the story of it. There's some of the cable stations, and you've got more of this wire here, and it's this kind of stuff that we might see more of at the end of this clip. There's the Skelligs, and you'll see there's the rest of the trail for you to come and enjoy yourselves. I'm not going to spoil it for you. And here's just some information about the gift store itself. And so now you can see there is the sign for the gift store, and here is the sign from the introduction of the show, which welcomes you to Waterville. And further along this road there is a sign warning you that there are walkers on the road, but you just have to be very careful when walking on the road. And there's some lovely bluebells down there. And so here we are in front of the cable houses, and here we have another plaque which says Commercial Cable Company 1884 to 1962 Waterville Station. This is the main entrance to the cable station property, and this station operated 6 cables to America, 4 cables to the UK and 2 to France, together with its sister companies that relayed cablegrams worldwide. The company broke the monopoly on transatlantic communication previously held by the Atlantic Telegraph Co., later Western Union, and employed over 300 people at its busiest period, erected by the Friends of the Waterville Cable Station. And so we're going to go walk up now onto the actual cable station land, like the proper place. This one's a little bit overgrown. It says you're now standing in Waterville's cable station, and it says about the plaque over there, and it says the Victorian terraces were purpose built to house the workers and families. As the station expanded, T.J. Wilmot, the second superintendent of Waterville, applied the philosophy that the commercial cable company never does things by halves, placing great emphasis on the design, layout of the cable station buildings. And so we've got some nice old photographs there of the houses, which pretty much still look exactly the same as they did back then, albeit possibly with better quality windows and nice colours as well that they have. So we're going to keep going now up this path. As you can see, there's still some of the original lighting fixtures on these plinths, although that one is somewhat taken over by the wilderness, and there are other lampposts down there which are presumably fairly original as well, if not original. So there was a big water tower here with a tank on the top, and there's a story here about a crashed German plane, and they were looked after here. And then, well, the tower's still here, and it's been converted into a home, so you can see it's got a proper roof on it now. It's quite a cool, quirky building. And one of my kids walked past, they say that a ghost man lives there. Ooh, I don't think that's true, but who knows. I found a pretty cat outside of the cable station. Must be the cable station cat. And there is the cable station itself. Now, I won't film too close to it because it's a private residential building, but it has a nice thing on the top that says 1899, and so I can actually see that from my house as well. And so then there are houses over there, and we'll walk round to the cable lodge over there. So these are some of the original houses built by the cable company. There's even an old gate, but yeah, there's no fence, so it's kind of pointless. There's some nice white flowers though over here. And so this is the house of the superintendent of the company, and there is a plaque here which it says to read. And so it says it was built in 1858 as a shooting lodge, and then it was taken over by the commercial cable company and then made bigger. And here it is. It's actually had some work done to it. They've redone all the sort of wooden fascia barge board things on the front of it, and cut down some of the garden, because before this was very overgrown, and now it's looking quite a bit smarter than it used to. Some sort of lamps on the things, so it's a very nice building. It's a very cool building, and yeah, I can't go and have a look though because it's private property, but yeah. And so here we have a thing about establishing better time, I suppose. There's a stone here past these lovely flowers about the latitude and longitude position of this place, I think. So yeah, that's a nice bit. And this, at the end of this row here, where you can see the cable station in the distance, and behind all these trees is the lodge. One of the things that seems to grow quite a lot around here at the moment is the bluebells. So maybe I'll have to get some sort of very fine purple scatter for the railway to represent some bluebells somewhere. And so over there in the distance is the cable station, and then down here we have this plaque on the main road, or one of the main roads, which basically gives more detail about the story of the cables going down. And it says July 2000, Institute of the Electrical and Electronics Engineers, and it's kind of picked out in this nice white paint. Right, well, so the cable station is behind me over there, and I did say I would show you something like the cable. So I have got, and I do beach cleaning, and sometimes you find stuff that's washed up. Sometimes you find bits of this, which is better seen on this one. Is undersea cable, and so I'll get the camera to show you a bit more close up. But as you can see, this is the wire, and this is stacked full of wires inside it with this coating on, and then there's another coating around that with wire, and then more wires around that. With that, let's get back to building the railway. Yes, well, it got warm enough or dry enough for this stuff to dry out properly now, and we are between Storm Isher and Jocelyn at the moment. And here we have the main part of the scenery base done. You've got the hill over there with the tunnel going through it, and the portals that will need painting in the next episode. We've got hills there and there to break up, sort of between the sidings and the running line, and there's a bit more scenery over here. It is still a little bit damp in the corner and a back bit there because they were done sort of as a later addition, but it's going quite well, and that will be painted up, and I might do like a coating or something for the road. The brewery will go here, and the new station obviously will go here. So that's basically where we are at. Like I said, some building work, or work on the buildings need to be done next episode. But I'm going to finish up by showing you some trains running through this more developed scenery. Well, that was good. Now, thank you very much for watching on Coireán. I hope to see you again for another episode. And, yeah, it's gone quite well. So, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget you can comment, like, share, subscribe, etc, etc. You know, hopefully you're being entertained and getting some inspiration. But until next time, ta-ra. And don't forget there's also the like bubble and the subscribe thing.